and let's say you're 65, the vast majority of your money is long-term money. You're not going to spend it all in year one. You're not going to even spend much of it at all. Maybe 2, 3, 4% of it perhaps, maybe 5%, but the vast majority of it is still long-term. And assuming, a retirement plan of 30 years, you're still very much a long-term investor. And I like to remind myself to zoom out and take that long-term perspective. So having said that, number 3 is I think it's worthwhile to take a look at your asset allocation from a couple of perspectives. And let me show you one tool that I've used for a long time to do that. It's called Empower. We've talked about it on the show before. This is a demo account that I use to show you all. And I've just put in what is effectively a 3-fund portfolio. But the thing I like about Empower, first of all, we can look at our balances. You can see it's I called it in a Roth IRA, but it's again a 3-fund portfolio. It owns BND, which is a bond fund, VTI, Total U.S. Stock Market Fund, and VXUS, an international fund. But a couple of things I like about Empower. One is it gives you a clear picture of your performance. Now, this fund over the last 90 days is down 7% compared to the S&P down 14%. And that's sort of the point I want to make, particularly if you're in or near retirement. I'm assuming you have a fair amount in fixed income. Now, in this case, we can look at the holdings. It's roughly a 70-30 portfolio. It's come down because the stock market has come down, particularly VTI and VXUS. So it's not quite at 30%. And that gets me to the second thing I really like about Empower is we can look at the allocation. We can see, I guess bonds are, but I tried to do the calculation in my head, didn't do very well. Bonds are roughly about 30% of this portfolio. And you can break that down. If we click in, it can show you, government bonds versus corporate bonds, and it can do the same thing with stocks. But I think it's important in difficult times like this to say, okay, wait a minute, what's my asset allocation? Is it part of my plan? Is this where I want to be? And the other thing I like to do, particularly if you're in or near retirement, is to say, okay, percentages are great, but what's the actual dollar amount of my fixed income? I would include bonds and things you might describe as cash. And I like to ask, all right, how long could I live on that if I had to? Now, I don't personally follow what's called the bucket strategy. I'm not going to just spend down my cash and then my bonds and leave my stocks alone. That would effectively be saying I'm not going to rebalance for a period of time. We'll talk about that in just a minute. You may follow the bucket strategy, fine. But the point is, whether you follow it or not, how much do you have in fixed income and cash, and how long could you live on that if you had to? And I did that this morning. I looked at the number. It gave me some comfort. We could live a fairly long time, say greater than 10 years, on just our fixed income and cash if we had to. And that's one way that so just psychologically, it helps me weather difficult market times like what we're having now. So I think number 3, looking at your asset allocation. You don't have to use a tool like Empower, by the way. It just makes it easier, but you can do it by hand. You could calculate it in a spreadsheet if you wanted to. And then ask on the fixed income side, how long could we live on that? I think particularly for those in or near retirement, that is can be a big advantage. Now, number 4, cut expenses. I actually